Every single second you're dying. I don't mean that in a metaphorical way. I mean literally. Every tick of the clock, your time on Earth shrinks. And here's the truth nobody likes to face. One day, your name will be spoken for the very last time.
Sounds heavy, right? But here's the twist. The people who face this reality head-on, they're the ones who live with the most freedom, the most courage, the most urgency. The Stoics had a phrase for this: Memento Mori, remember death. At first glance, it feels depressing. Why would you want to think about death every day? But the truth is, this reminder isn't about fear. It's about fuel. Because when you remember that your time is limited, suddenly fear loses its grip. Procrastination loses its power, and excuses start to sound ridiculous. That's what this video is about. By the end, you'll understand why remembering death doesn't make you weaker. It makes you unstoppable. Let's start with a wake-up call. If you're 30 years old, you've lived for about 11,000 days. If you're lucky enough to reach 80, that's about 29,000 days total. Meaning by 30, you've already burned through more than a third of your life. And most of us, we can't even remember half those days. It's scary when you put numbers on it. According to the World Health Organization, the global average lifespan is around 73 years. That's about 26,000 days. And every day, roughly 150,000 people die worldwide. That means by the time you've finished watching this video, over 6,000 people will have taken their last breath. Now ask yourself, if today was yours, would you be proud of how you spent it? The Stoics never wanted us to avoid this question. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." See, death isn't just some faraway event in the future. It's a shadow that walks with you every single day. Ignoring it doesn't make it go away. It just makes you live like time is infinite. And that illusion is deadly. Here's the problem. Most people avoid thinking about death. We distract ourselves with endless scrolling, constant noise, keeping busy just so we don't feel the weight of silence. Psychologists call this terror management theory. The idea that much of human behavior is about avoiding the fear of mortality. We build routines, chase status, or even cling to unhealthy habits just to block out the truth that we're temporary. But the irony? By running from death, we end up running from life too. We play it safe. We put things off. We treat time like a cheap resource instead of the rarest currency we'll ever own. Seneca, the Roman Stoic, said it bluntly: "You act like mortals in all that you fear, and like immortals in all that you desire." Meaning, when it comes to fear, we remember we're fragile. But when it comes to wasting time, we act like we'll live forever. This is where the Stoics flipped the script. Instead of running from death, they stared it in the face. Memento Mori wasn't a depressing slogan. It was a call to urgency. A reminder that every hour wasted is an hour you'll never get back. Think of it like this. Imagine someone hands you a bag with $29,000 in it. That's all the money you'll ever have in life. Every single day, someone reaches into your bag and takes out $1. You don't know how many dollars are left. Some people get 70, some only 25. How carefully would you spend each one? That's exactly what remembering death does. It makes you intentional. It strips away the nonsense. Suddenly, skipping your dreams, avoiding tough conversations, or wasting hours arguing online feels absurd. Even modern psychology backs this up. Studies on death awareness show that people who are reminded of mortality often report higher focus, greater clarity, and more willingness to pursue meaningful goals. When you remember the clock is ticking, you stop stalling. Here's where things get powerful. Think about all the times fear has held you back. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of what other people think. Now, zoom out. In 100 years, every single person whose judgment you feared will be gone. Their opinions won't matter. Their voices won't echo. The Stoics knew this truth deeply. Epictetus said, "I cannot escape death, but at least I can escape the fear of it." And once you accept that, you move different. Steve Jobs, in his famous Stanford speech, said he asked himself every morning, "If today were the last day of my life, would I want to do what I am about to do today?" That question drove him to take risks, to innovate, to cut out what didn't matter. And here's the paradox. Once you accept death, you stop being paralyzed by it. You stop fearing the little deaths, failure, rejection, embarrassment, because compared to the real thing, they're nothing. When you carry Memento Mori in your pocket, you carry courage. So how do you actually use this mindset? Here are 3 ways. First, write it down. In the morning, open your journal and write, "I might die today." It sounds dramatic, but it's not meant to scare you. It's meant to sharpen you. Suddenly, that text you've been putting off, that project you've delayed, it feels urgent. Second, visualize your last day. Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine if this was your final day. Who would you call? What would you stop caring about? What would you finally do? Now open your eyes and go live that way. Third, carry a reminder. The Stoics used physical tokens, coins, rings, inscriptions. Today, some people wear a Memento Mori bracelet or coin. The point isn't superstition. It's to keep the reminder close. So when you're tempted to waste time, you feel the weight of it. Small practices, but they rewire how you see every day. Here's the heart of it. Death isn't the enemy. It's the ultimate motivator. When you try to ignore it, life feels endless, and you drift. But when you face it, life feels urgent, and you act. This is why the Stoics embraced it. They weren't obsessed with dying, they were obsessed with living. Fully, boldly, urgently. So when fear comes knocking, when you're about to hold back, play small, or hide, remember this: you will die. And that's exactly why you must live. Most people fear death. They run from it. They pretend it doesn't exist, and in doing so, they waste their lives. The truth? Memento Mori isn't a curse. It's a compass. It reminds you that time is finite, that fear is pointless, that excuses are dangerous. When you remember death daily, you live with urgency, with clarity, with courage. And that's why remembering death doesn't make you weaker. It makes you unstoppable.